He's not there.
33, 38, 70, 71, 72, 82, 121, 122.
Like you rep an East Coast or
Yeah. You know, it's a nice light, and it's filling good. That's without it, doesn't come up with small little boat, like a speedboat.
so. Send me that link to Yoseph Son. The little blue thing, the link. That's what's called, right? So first, I want to thank the Rahmani family, Rabin and Dina, the Shiurim of Darchi Avinom, and I just told that yesterday was your father, Rabbi Avinom Ben Chaim. This is Yartzeit, this is Shem Shav Melia, and we have Simchas to look forward to. Baruch Hashem. Simchas, we should only be so stable. So we were learning it last week. We were learning last week a Maimer from Rabbi Yucham's Hatzadik, which I want to finish now. I want to finish on time because I want the Chaver to be able to listen to the Shir from Rav Sasson. Of course, it's disappointed we were hoping that he would be here. It's Hashem, everybody should be safe and we'll be together in Yerushalayim. So what Rabbi Yucham is talking about, this is the timing of this, is what we're learning is really what we need to learn right now. Not just Chaburah Yosef Hatzadik, but Bechlal, the Matzav that we're in. The Mishnah at the end of Sota, Rabbi Yucham was talking about this, describing the basically the unraveling of the world order, the complete crumbling of civilization, the chalal in our own world, befrat, without going over all, it's described in the Mishnah, but the Mishnah concludes with, sounds like the way that we learned the Mishnah all the years growing up was, well, everything's a mess, and ein lanu the only thing we can do is we have nothing, so just to do the best we can and trust in Hashem. So sort of the feeling was one of, when learning this Mishnah, was a feeling of almost of the David and having been defeated by the world, and looking at the chaos that surrounds us. We can only now we are left just with the Chaburah. So Rabbi Yucham is explaining how the truth of the matter is that Hashem Yisbarach did create a world in such a way where He wants us to have balei samcha. He wants us to rely upon family, friends, each other. He wants us to rely on a higher level, nevuah, or betumim, Sanhedrin, seichel, to be able to rely upon one's common sense. There are balei samcha, and Hashem made the world in such a way that we should have balei samcha. Mishpat, that there's a natural need on the part of mankind for there to be social justice. All of these balei samcha that Hashem created as part of our lives that we should rely upon. And then, of course, Rabbi Yochanan explains how the Mishnah is describing how all the Balei Samcha are verfallen. Tzedek, justice, in the world, what kind of justice is there? Shkan Devur, Shkan Mitzamikdish, Shkan Sanhedrin, Om V'Tomim, Balei Samcha, Seichel, few people. A lot of the Seichel is common sense, Seichel al-Yosher. So the whole picture is unbelievably depressing. There's no Balei Samcha. But Rabbi Yochanan turns it all around and says, now, Baruch Hashem, there were always things that we thought we could depend on. And to a large extent, we've been disappointed by. But now we're in a place, now, Mamish, today, we're in a place of Ein Lano Amil Heshayin, Ela Avinu Shemayim. And that's not a B'de'evet. That's the L'chadchila Sheb'L'chadchila. That Avinu Shemayim. That all the side Balei Samcha, nice ones, all the good Balei Samcha are gone. So now it's time to return and to recognize that the Be'emes, there's really only one Balei Samcha. And we're at the end of time. That's the description of the end of time. So we're on page Zayin, if you have it on your phone or on a paper. In the middle of the page which says, Let's try to finish this Torah. And this is what Chazal are talking about. Well, Avinu Sheb'Shamayim yesh lehishoy. Sheb'mitzavenu zeh, in our matzav, shechos lanu hakol. Chos lanu hakol. But we don't have any of these Balei Samcha. Shesofu v'tomos anu kol ha'mesayimim v'ha'mesayim la'avodas Hashem. All those things that helped us to have this clarity. Sanhedrin, or Betumim, and so on and so forth. Even Seichel Yosef. Because there are things that we hear that are coming from people that are even supposed to be very, very knowledgeable, that are just not Seichel Yosef. I don't know how else to say. Not that I'm the judge either of Seichel Yosef, because I'm also verkrumt. But certain things it's so obvious that it's not Seichel Yosef. And it's extremely, extremely discouraging. Sof kol sof, ein chosel anu klum. Rabbi Yochanan says, ein chosel anu klum. He even said last week, there's no yesh, right? The rest of the sentence. There's ein chosel anu klum. We shouldn't look at ourselves as being nebuchs, that we don't have all this stuff. Ein chosel anu klum. In a certain way, we have an advantage over the earlier generations. Because they thought that they had Balei Samcha. It seemed that they were always Balei Samcha that they could rely upon, which is very easy, it's very convenient, it's very good. But the truth of the matter is that really, Ein Lano Mishon Ein L'Vishu Shmai. Chosokos of Ein Chos Lanu Klum, Alamuna Yesh L'Hishoy. That's the avodah of our time right now, of our generation. Alamuna Yesh L'Hishoy. It's not that, well, all those things are really, really much better, and if all those things are not working, then there's Hashem. If all the other stuff's not working, then there's Amunah. That's twisted. It's not that if all the other things are not working. Hashem, in His kindness, gave us Balei Samcha to help us. But if all of those things are not working, it doesn't mean that we're nebuchs. It means Alamuna yesh lehishoin. Vayidei Amuna levad nuchal hagil lechol hadargas halyonis v'aromas. And we could reach with Amuna, just with Amuna. And Avinu Shemayim, we could reach all the madregas that are possible. Just with Amuna. Kol ben Yisrael yochel umuter lahamin ki gam ata yuchal lilmod Torah ki mipi hagvur misinai. A Jew has to know that even without Nevuah, and without the Sanhedrin, and without the Urim Betumim and so on, that when you and I are sitting and we're learning, that we're able to receive Torah, mipi hagvur from Hashem's mouth. You see now. Sarach lahamin b'emunah shleima, shegam anachnu b'mitzavenu anu, even in our matzav, yicholum lahagil l'chol matzavim rabim v'nisoyim kimiken. That we're able to reach the highest madregas. The highest madregas. V'nisoyim kimiken. Which higher than the madregas of Chedmainim, as we know from the Ariya Kodesh and the Tzaddikim, they explain that that in this state that we're in right now, where all the Bali Samch have been taken from us, our Avodah, our putting on tefillin, our getting up and davening, our opening up a Mishnah Gemara is on a higher madrega than was ever before by all the Kadmai. And there's nothing that's chassid, that's missing. This is the main message that we have to get across in this conversation that we're talking about with the Bachrim, that the same thing that we're learning from the Gemara, that El Molei HaKadosh Baruch Hu that if not for Hashem, then the Yetzer Hara is Misgabra, and all of the different eitzes, all of the different advice, and all the things that we've been talking about, all of those things. If a person doesn't have Amunah, then Ein Lo Amal Yishay. And all of the eitzes are not going to work. Yedua al echad min harishonim shechi b'sefer al chesed v'kar shema Baruch Shama. There's a sefer from one of the Rishonim that's called Baruch Shama, and why did he call the sefer Baruch Shama? Al Shem Ma'aser. I saw this sefer. I don't have it, but I saw this sefer many years ago. I don't know if it's in print now, but I saw it years ago. Al Shem Ma'aser. What was the Ma'aser? She'oviv meis kodim shenoilad. This Rishon, his father died before he was born. And as a result of the fact that he was left without a father, whatever the matzav was in his family, his mother, he wasn't able to get any kind of an education. That's when fathers would teach us that he didn't get any education. And all he knew from when he was a kid was Baruch Shama. Was that part of davening was Baruch Shama. He would go every day to shul. This Rishon, the Baruch Shama had told us this. He would go every day to shul. He would open up the Aron Kodesh. And he would say, in the Aron opening, he would cry and say Baruch Shama. And Hashem's Baruch helped him. But Nasa Rishon, he became a Rishon. That's pretty hard. Remember, I once told you that we went to I took my boys when I was a Rebbe in Yeshiva. I took my boys, and we went to visit different tzaddikim, Rosh Yeshivas, and we went to see Rabbi Aaron Shachter's outside of Rachel, the Rosh Yeshiva of Chaim Berlin. Went to see Rabbi Aaron, and I was sitting there with all of my guys, and one of the boys' names was Moshe Alfasi. It was from a Moroccan family. His name was Moshe Alfasi. So Rav Aaron was going around asking, Rav Aaron Shachar was going around asking everybody their names. And he said, my name is Moshe Alfasi. So Rav Aaron Shachar looked at me and said, Alfasi. And I just went, because he was descended from who? From the river. So Rav Aaron Shachar said to him, do you know who your great-great-grandfather was? So the boy said, yeah, he's some guy in the back of the Gemara. He said, some guy in the back of the Gemara. So Rabban smiled. He was great. He said, it's not so easy to get in the back of the Gemara. Pretty good, no? It's pretty good to be in the back of the Gemara. So the Baruch Shema was a Rishon. I can encourage Chibur Baruch Shema, and he called this sefer Baruch Shema, because those Baruch Shemas that he said crying their own kodesh. So he didn't have a father, never. The Baal Samcha that you have in the world to teach you to daven and to Ashnei Gavasa is your father. He didn't have a Baal Samcha, even a father. I don't know what was with his mother. Baruch Shema. V'nei emes hu shezeh matzaveinu. The emes is, this is our matzav. This is our matzav. So it's very easy now to think that they have the Iron Dome and they have other technology. My son was describing, they have some kind of laser beam. The Iron Dome, because each one costs a velt of money to send. I don't know how much it's a lot of money, each one of those things. But they developed some kind of a laser thing where it costs like 20 cents or something. Each zap. So we're able to go to sleep now and thinking, all right, whatever's going on during the night, all the fireworks, everybody's okay, everybody's safe. It's not possible at all. There have already been some people who are not safe, or who were killed, and people who are hurt. Our matzav is a matzav of ein lana amil lishan. So you might think that the Iron Dome and the army is a Baal Samcha, and we appreciate and we love all that they're doing. But ein lana amil lishan el vishum shemayim. Shakol kol ha'etzes batel v'nevad mihiton. That's what the Mishnah is saying. All of the etzes, all the Baal Samcha are gone. Nish'arnu galmudim, we are left alone. Galmudim means like alone, lonely. Lishum mishon m'shayna, without anything to rely on. Vein lanu shum etza, we have no etza. Rak leftach Aron HaKodesh. The only etza we have is to open up the Aron HaKodesh. Lahapil rachmim esachanunu l'fnei bari ha'olam, to pour our hearts out to beg Hashem. Shehu levado yazveinu. Because we have there are even big people, Tamil Chachamim, and great people that we thought we could rely upon. It's not lav davka. I'm not saying about any of those people, whatever, but it's not pashut. So we have the Aron Kodesh, and we have Baruch Shamar, and we have our tefillas. Emes shebizman hazeh hu ikvus Mashiach. At the end of time, it's ikvus Mashiach. That's exactly what the Mishnah is talking about. V'akol batel v'kola, and all that we have is batel v'kola. Kol zoemes, it's true. Aval aleinu liskor v'leida sefer Mishnah, but we have to always remember the end of the Mishnah. V'amol yeish lanu l'hishayin al avinu sheb'shamayim. Hukayim, and avinu sheb'shamayim is healthy and well. It's healthy and well. It's a beautiful thing that this that Yid that was a hostage that was freed, Omer Shem Tov, right? You know what I'm talking about. That one of you sent me a clip about how he was davening down there, and he would begin always davening. You remember how he would begin davening? He would ask HaKadosh Baruch Hu, so how are you doing? How are you doing? How's it been going with you? I was very touched by it, the way he said it. And he's doing well, Baruch Hashem. He's worried about his children, but he's doing well. In Yesh Boy, we have a creator. On page that's the last page. Ha'emesu kaim la. Bari ha'emesu kaim la. Emunahim advarim shal yikol v'lo yisuf v'lo yitam v'lo. And nobody can take a person's emunah away. That belief in the Bari Olam, in Kadosh Baruch Hu, that's never ever. That can't be. That Baal Samcha of one's own faith, that Baal Samcha, no one can take that away. And that's the biggest Baal Samcha. You shouldn't think like that's, no. That's the biggest Baal Samcha, is Emunah. The biggest Baal Samcha is Avinu Sheb'Shamayim. That's the biggest Baal Samcha. L'chaim la'ad. U'b'chol ha'matzavim, hay b'zeh anu betuchim. And in every matzav in life. Hay b'zeh anu betuchim. Avinu Sheb'Shamayim. Zeh nish'ar lana. That's what we're left with at the end of time. That's what we're left with. All the other stuff, all the other Baalei Samcha, we're left with Avinu Sheb'Shamayim. V'al zeh nuchal yishayis. V'al zeh, and on this emunah, Kadosh Baruch Hu, nuchal l'hishayin. We can rely. And I mentioned last week that he says over here, Rabbi Yochanan, Machshava zayis hergashti, I had this machshava, b'shoshen estalke Chavetz Chaim zal, when the Chavetz Chaim died. Chashavti az ma yeh achshav. The Chavetz Chaim died, so Rabbi Yochanan said, I was thinking, what's going to be now? Kol zman shehu zal hayachai yitanu, as long as the Chavetz Chaim was here with us, hayinu yichalnu liftach alav. We were able to trust the Chavetz Chaim. We were able to rely on the Chavetz Chaim. Hello, who haya Yosef Neban? He was that Yosef is a secure, that security. Shekol beis Yisrael hayicham l'shayma, that all of Am Yisrael was able to rely upon the Chavetz Chaim. that what came out from his mouth was like from the Umm. And we were all able to rely on the Chavetz Chaim. Emes, the truth is, Kiyasmi Anan, that we are orphans. Miroiv Gedolim Shenevdu, because all the tzaddikim that are gone. Rabbi Yochanan died before World War II. Can you imagine what was the feeling after the Mulchama? After the Mulchama. Miroiv Gedolim Shenevdu. Our Kol Zman Shuhu Hayu Bedor. So even though there were many tzaddikim that had died, the Kol Zman that the Chavetz Chaim was alive, Hayu Chomlis Naching. We were consoled. That even though there were many tzaddikim that we lost, but as long as the Chavetz Chaim was here, Hayu Chomlis Naching. Avol Kshuhu Nestalik, but when the Chavetz Chaim died, when the Sha'anu Galmudim, we were left alone, Haya Matzav Noir. The matzah was horrible. Nilifnim beis sheberachov haya emes hayu yirei mishleimim. When there was still truth in the world, when the Chavetz Chaim was alive, and there was truth on the street, hayu yirei mishleimim, there was a feeling of Yashamayim. Haya mishpat. Oid haya matzav shayu chelm lekavos, and there was still a matzav where one could have hope. Oid yesh tikva. Kol zman sheyesh emes. Kol zman sheyesh emes. As long as truth was still alive, and when we had the Chavetz Chaim, we felt that we had that shiraim of Hashem's truth that was still amongst us. The shiraim of the absolute clear truth. Without any inyanim of money, or family, or protexia, or politics. We had that Chavetz Chaim clean, shining clean. The Chavetz Chaim is in the world. So we're able to trust him, to rely upon him. Aval. This, the Rabbi Yochanan was describing the feelings that he had when Chavetz Chaim died. But in our matzav now, aniyas haruach, we're impoverished. That we've descended, we've fallen in a horrible way. Shakol bottle. We were just holding on to the Chavetz Chaim. And now that he's gone, hakol bottle. What do we have? Mikol Eila, I don't have any more. Manasa, so the feeling that we have is Manasa. So now what are we going to do? Manasa. Umidei Omdi b'machshava zu nichamti. Rabbi Yochanan says that while I was caught up in this terrible, depressing thought, nichamti, I found the nechama. And nechama means I found a new way of thinking about things. That's what nechama means. Like vayinachim Hashem ala Rasha dibilasas lam. It means a different way. When you're stuck in a dark and negative way of thinking, that's a b'china of aveilus. Oh, gewalt. Everything's fallen. Everything is lost. What am I going to do? What am I going to do? There's no hope. That's aveilus. Whatever it's for, but that's aveilus. What's nechama? Nechama is chabanetza. There's a mahalach. There's a different way. That's what nechama means. There's a different mahalach. There's a different way. Yes, this person is no longer here. That person is gone. But there's a different mahalach. Not that person can be replaced. That's finished. But there's a different mahalach. That's called nechama. What's the nechama? Ki ein l'isyayish. Not to be misyayish. Not to give up. V'hayim ahovat tikva. Is that true that all hope is lost? Halo habari kayim. The Chavetz Chaim died, but the Baruch Shalom was alive and well. Halo habari kayim. The Creator, the Bari is kind. Emes sha'akol never. It's true. Like the mission is talking about. At the end of time, ha'akol never. Ha'akol never, everything is gone. He was talking about it can't be massive what it was like to have the Chofetz Chaim in the world. And what was it like for the survivors when Mamish Hakol Ne'avad? All the Rebbes, all the Tzaddikim, all their parents, their brothers and sisters, and you came out from that Hakol Ne'avad. Hakol. Not talking here about your mortgage is verfallen, or there's a problem, you're having with your kid in school. You have a kid, thank God. Hakol Ne'avad. Hakol Ne'avad. Everything is gone. B'gapo yovo, b'gapo yetze. That was the mantra. Hakol Ne'avad. I mentioned over the years a number of times how my father described to us how after the Milchama, after they were liberated, so he was in Budapest, and they were just driving up and down. There was this beautiful big boulevard over there, this big street, and the Jews were just walking. That's what we did all day. Just walked up and down, back and forth on this street, just hoping to meet somebody. It was somebody that you knew, a friend or a relative, that you would meet somebody. That's all. And then every day, my father said you would begin. You went to the highest office to look to see if there were any on the board that they would pin up on the board. People were looking for you, were looking for this, looking for that, and that's how they began every day. Every day he said he would come in. He doesn't know anybody. There's nobody here that he knows, nothing. And then you go outside, and then all day long, my father said that's what we did, just up, back, and forth on this street to try to see somebody that you knew, to find a Baal Samcha. Because Hakol Ne'avad, everything was gone. So, how are you supposed to have any nechama? How are you supposed to start? The teretz is, Ein lo namila eshayin ela alavinu shebeshamayim. And those who did not find HaKadosh Baruch Hu walking on the street, it was very, very, very hard. I'd say, terrible. If you didn't find HaKadosh Baruch Hu on the street, it was terrible. Alarei Nois and HaTorah, who came lad. The one who gave us the Torah in Har Sinai, he's still here. Vad zikna anihu. I'm very old, Hashem says, but anihu, it's still me. Vad zikna anihu. In emes batal, if you look around you at the world and you see that that the world is just a big lie, which we see. The emes is batal in the world. Emes in the world. Hari boira he'emes kai. The one who created truth is here. Amayesh lidog hu avinu sheb'shamayim yishar lana la'ol me'an. And HaKadosh Baruch Hu is always. Therefore, the klum ma chaser lanu. Klum ma chaser lanu. Al derech zeh yizbar lanu ma she'omu chazal. So the Medrash, he brings here the Medrash, which is kedai to hear the Medrash. It's brought down, this Medrash is brought down in many, many svarim. It's going on Vayetze Yaakov Be'eshava. So Yaakov was in a bad matzav. He was running away from Esav. And Vayelech Harana. And Harana, he went to the place of Charan. He was going to Charan, but Harana, the Zohar Kodesh says, Harana means into a place he was going to a life of absolute darkness and chaos. That's the word Charana, like Charon Af. Yeah. So the Medrash, in the beginning of Parshas Vayetze, the way the Medrash goes is Vayetze Yaakov Yeshav Vayelech Harana Pinchas B'Shem Rabbi Huna Bar Papa Pasach Oz Teilech Levetach Darkecha. So Vayetze Yaakov Vayelech Harana brings the pasuk from the pasuk from Mishlei, Oz Telech Levetach Darkecha. You could go with confidence along your way in the path. In Tishkav, Lo Sivchad, and you can go to sleep at night and not be afraid with the things blowing up. Lo Sivchad. Oz Telech Levetach Ze Yaakov. And the Medrash Darshans on Yaakov. Oz Telech Levetach. Who's that talking about? Ze Yaakov. Chsi Vayetze Yaakov. Vayetze means that Yaakov went, the Medrash is learning that Yaakov went with confidence, with bitachon. In Tishkav le'sivchad, and when you go to sleep, you don't have to be afraid from whom? Me'esav u'milavan. V'shachab mean, Lavan of course, that's going to be later. V'shachavta v'arv v'neshnesecha, as it says, v'yishkav v'makom ahu. It says that v'yesi Yaakov v'yishkav, he went to sleep. He went to sleep. V'yishkav v'makom ahu. Then the Medrash that Rabbi Yochanan brings continues. Rabbi Shmuel bar Nachman pasach Shir Lamalos, and I've been saying this pasuk every day, a couple of times a day. Shir Lamalos Esa Einai El Hehar. So it says in Tehillim. Shir Lamalos. David HaMelech says, I turn my eyes to the mountains. Esa Einai El Heharim. My ayin Yova Ezri. Esa Einai. So the Medrash directions. Esa Einai El Heharim. Esa Einai El Hahirim. To my parents. Harim, mountains. It's like the word Harim, my parents. Esa Einai El Harim, and the Medrash says, Lumalafanai, to those who came before me, who taught me. Lumabdanai, Abdanai means those who gave me instructions and hadracha. As I look to my parents. And now I'm wondering, the Medrash goes on, with the words of David HaMelech, May ayin Yova Ezri. And the Mefarshim explained that he wanted to go find a wife. So May ayin Yova Ezri, the wife is called Ne'ezer Kenegdo. Now my parents always took care of me until now. But that's Fafal. I'm not able to stay home anymore. So may ayin Yova Ezri. So how am I going to ever get married? My Ezer. May ayin, where's it going to come from? My parents are not going to be making any phone calls for me. But more than that, Yaakov Avinu says, I don't have a penny to give for a navi. I don't have any money to get married. And Yaakov Avinu says, Eliezer b'shasha halach lahavi Rivka. Eliezer, the slave of my grandfather, the Eved of Avraham, kish b'shasha halach lahavi Rivka. When he went to get a wife for Yitzchak, when he went to make a shidduch for Yitzchak, Maksiv, what does it say? Vikach Eved asar gemal. He went with camels, 10 camels that were loaded with, that had what to give to be able to get a wife, to be able to get married. Vani loynezem echad loytzamed echad. I don't have one earring and one bracelet. I don't have anything. So then the Medrash brings an interesting machlokes, which would be a lot to talk about, but just now, just the simple words of the Medrash. Rabbi Chanina Omar Godud Shilchai. That the truth is that Yaakov Avinu ran away empty-handed. That his father sent him. His mother said, "Get out of here quickly," and he didn't have anything. He went. Godud means like this Godud, because he didn't have anything. Rabbi Yeshua ben Levi Omar Shilach Imai. So Rabbi Yeshua ben Levi said, "No, the parents didn't send him empty-handed. They gave him stuff." But what happened? But he was mugged. It was taken from him. So he had some stuff to be able to move ahead with his life, but it was stolen from him. V'amar, and he said, Chazav v'amari. So at that point, Yaakov was saying, "Me ayin Yova Ezri." I look to my parents. What? I have nothing from them. The ones who taught me, the ones who raised me, they left me with nothing. So may ayin Yova Ezri. So the Medrash says, and this is what happened to Rabbi Yochanan with the Chavetz Chaim. So the Medrash says, Omar. So Yaakov came back to himself. There was that moment of Chalishas Chadas. Yaakov said, "I'm finished." And then v'amar ma ano moivet sivrim min bari. What am I losing my trust in the one who created me? Chas v'sholom. Leis ano moivet sivrim min bari. I'll never ever lose my trust in the one who created me. Ezri mi im Hashem. So may I in Yov Ezri was Yaakov Avinu's momentary fear and hesitation, which is normal. That could even say about Yaakov Avinu that he had that feeling. What am I going to do? Boy, am I in trouble? I have nothing. Because what he had his parents, and he has nothing now. So he came back to himself. This is what David Melech is saying. So first Yaakov Avinu says, may I in Yov Ezri. Eso ina el hahorim, my parents. There's nothing. So may I in Yov Ezri. And then there's that hesitation, and then Yaakov Avinu just came back to himself, was Hatzadik himself. Ezri mi im Hashem. Hashem will make my shidduch. All the sweet little girls coming back from seminary. Well, they're not coming back from seminary, I guess. Hopefully they'll get a flight at some point, and they'll come back. I know there's a lot of wailing and crying going on right now. And so they come back. The first thing they say to their parents when they come off the plane and they get through customs and they come to their parents is, first they say, oh, mommy, dad, and they kiss them and say, you have a shidduch for me? Right? In the airport. And if they don't say it because they had a little bit more, seichel, so then they'll say it when they get home. You have my husband? Is he cute? Is he from? Does he learn? The big chakiras that they have. So the Melech says from Yaakov, Al Yitena Madreglacha, Al Yonam Shemecha. Now listen, feel Yaakov being mechazik himself. The whole Kapitel will tell him how Yaakov Avinu, we're with Yaakov Avinu, and that's what Yucham was going through with the Chavetz Chaim's Petir. Al Yitena Madreglacha. So Yaakov Avinu was saying to himself, Al Yitena Madreglacha. Don't let yourself slip. The one who's watching over you is here, and he doesn't go to sleep. The whole thing. Hashem yishmorchem mikol ra. The Medrash says me'esav miloven yishmor nafshecha. The Malach Hamavis. The Medrash says Hashem yishmor tzeischa ve'echa and so on. That's the Medrash vayetze Yaakov. So let's just finish up. Valdel says Borlo no mashom Chazal Shila Malas in Harm Zechariah Yaakov in B'Shash Baruch Me'esav Shom Esan El Harm Milfon Milad Ma'ayin Yov Ezri Eliezer B'Shash Halach brings the whole Medrash over here. Chazva Ma'avad Moavid Sivim Min Bari Leis on the Moavid Sivim Min Bari El Ezri Mi'im Hashem Oiser Shemayim Bari. So you can tell the girls when they ask you the question of what's going to be, what do you have? So you can say to them Ezri Mi'im Hashem Oiser Shemayim Bari. I'll make some calls. I'll do what I can. But don't go crazy. Yeah, but I know the Chai Prince is already 22 and she's not married. And also, you didn't hear that my other friend, Sarula, she's already engaged. What kind of a parent are you? Sarula's already engaged. What's the matter with you? Sarula's engaged? But we just got off the plane. Yeah, they brought the chassan to the airport. She's already engaged. And I'm already in the airport. We already came home from the airport. Listen, we came home from the airport. You don't even have a name for me. Not a name. They all should get married to the right people at the right time. And they shouldn't be desperate because there's a Bari Olam. There's a Bari Olam. And people are making big mistakes because of desperation. Big mistakes. Now, Maimer Manfli. So Yochum ends and says, this is a wonder. So what, Yaakov was depending on bracelets, and he wanted Eliezer had bracelets and earrings, and they left me, my parents sent me off for nothing. So this is Yaakov Avinu, the one to be, this is our Yaakov Avinu. He was standing at Chaburah because he didn't have any bracelets. He didn't have any tchotchke to bring to a girl. But according to what we learned at Dvarim, we understand. Hashem said money is something that is one of those things in the world that's about samcha. Money is also something you could rely upon. You need to go to the grocery. You have the money, that's good. It's also about samcha. It's also something you can rely on. It's the money that you have. Beishu im kol hagdodim shamat neshamayim tzadikim chavim leim hamanim v'yosem megufim. And the Gemara says that tzadikim chavim leim hamanim. The tzadikim also take their money seriously. It's a gift from Hashem, and it's something that Hashem gave us that you could use. Good. Ha'avos shamru derech eretz. Our Ovis went to work. They held jobs, the Ovis. And they she'ein chofetz Hashem lasas nisim, because Hashem does not fear the world in such a way with miracles. Therefore, to have a parnasa, to make a living, to go to the store, that's one of those other things that Hashem gave us to have this bar samcha. It would be great if you could always rely on them. So me'ayin yavo ezri. Me'ayin yavo ezri. B'chol zois, knows me'ayin yavo ezri, so that I don't have, Yaakov Avinu saying, I don't have the Bali Samcha, I don't have the regular Bali Samcha, I don't have any at all. B'chol zois, so then that's when Yaakov Avinu is mechazik himself. So all my Bali Samcha are gone. Everything I relied upon is gone. So what do I have? So nevdu kalelu. Chazav ha'omar hein ze loy neva. That the real Baal Samcha, lo neva, is not gone. Oiseh shamayim v'aretz, the one who created heaven and earth. And therefore every single person, no matter what they're going through, including that Bach who is struggling with this inyan of Kedushas Habris, at the end of the day, if he's a person of tefillah, if he's a person of emunah, there's nothing that's strong in the world to come to that place of Yaakov Avinu, Chazav ha'omar hein ze loy neva. Oiseh shamayim v'aretz. Hu loy neva v'lo yeh oved. He is not lost and never will be lost. Hu kaim la'ad. V'olav yesh lehi shayin. And upon him, yesh lehi shayin, that he could help us. Ve'eni chaser klum. And as long as I have him in my life, eni chaser klum. And no one could take him away from me. Eni chaser klum. And we see that with the chevra, with the hostages, with the soldiers, all the things that they went through. How the ikket that they came to was any chaser klum, because they came to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Any chaser klum. So ezri mi Hashem, oiseh shamayim v'aretz. Ezri mi im Hashem, oiseh shamayim v'aretz. We should b'zeichim as Hashem to always come to that. And when we're saying this Kippur Tilim now, and thinking about all the things that we need to daven for, because there's a lot to daven for, not to take for granted. To always come back to this Yaakov Avinu and David HaMelech, to come back to this truth of Ein Lo Amil Hishoy, Elo Elavinu Shabashor. Not just Kapitel Tilim. That's not really it. It really is it. The Kapitel Tilim really is it, and that Emunah is really it for us and for our children. We should be zechus to sing Nisim Gluyim and to see a V'nahafa Chud like Mom is something that we never ever saw before. We've been zechus. Hashem brought down the Shamas down at a time where we're standing we're going to see Mashiach Sekein. Hey. I have to be some kind of I got something up. I'm supposed to be someplace. I don't know exactly where, but I was told that it might be that this might be the end of this month. Shabbos night on July 2nd. July 2nd. Surreal's making.